What's up, YouTube? So I haven't done an update since we put the lift on the Jeep, but since then we did the ARB air compressor with the Grim off-road mount that puts it in the wheel well or the fender. That was awesome, you know, because having onboard air, just flip a switch underneath the hood and then we're good to go. And then I changed the fenders out to the color matched fenders. We want to do the top as well, but then we did Aurora rock lights in each wheel well while we had the fenders off. Wired those out to the aux switches. Then we took it on a few trips already. Imogene Pass and the Ophir back to Stony Pass. I think Ophir was the most technical, like shale cliffside roads and stuff like that, like just steep. And then Imogene, you could take a car over probably, but it was cool to go over that way from Ouray to Telluride, pop out, go have dinner, you know, it's pretty cool. So anyways, we're doing some Boost Auto Parts mirrors today. They just came out with some new mirrors and they have the sequential lighting in the front and they're switchbacks, and then they also have heated glass too. And when we bought the Jeep, it had these convex mirrors on it, so you could kind of back into a parking spot without being crooked and see what's going on. But with the Boost Auto Parts mirrors, they have the, you know, lower mirror, like a 2500 truck tow mirrors, and so we're gonna see what those look like on here. I think it's gonna be pretty sweet. Kind of go with the rest of the LED package. So taillights, headlights, we did the diodynamic clear corner markers. Those are just the factory LEDs, so kind of finish up the look on the front. So first things first, we gotta get this thing cleaned up. It's a beautiful morning, end of February, and it's been through a couple snowstorms, so we're gonna try a new product today too. I'll show you guys in a minute. So we'll get this thing rinsed off and then we'll throw those mirrors on. The link for these mirrors that we're gonna put on here will be in the description, so let's go throw those on. Alright, so this is what I was talking about earlier. We're gonna throw some salts going on it. I never tried this product before, but supposedly it neutralizes, you know, like calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, and brine's the problem. It's really sticky, it gets on the chassis and stuff. So we're in the garage, just got it washed. These are the factory mirrors, and then somebody before us, whoever owned this, put those convex mirrors on it. You can kind of use them to see the you know, parking space a little bit better when you're backing in, or, you know, kind of see where your tire placement is, but they still kind of suck. They're not like what we're gonna put on right now from Boost Auto. These are the, I'll show you the part number I got, 1711Y. These are the heated upper and lower. These are the sequential switchbacks. And they also have the cool little startup. Nice. Got a nice duck. They ducked us. They also sent us a nice trucker hat, a couple stickers and some key tags. And a, you know, we definitely need a drink for that. So, show you what we got here. These are the taps, probably to run the blinkers. That's the harness. And then looks like we got a ring terminal. A lot of wires here. I mean, they're not the simplest mirrors because they have all the lighting, so you have to wire them up. You know, to get full potential out of them, and get some standard ones with no lights. But, you know, it's kind of lame when you have LED everything else. You might as well bring some lighting up to the top where the mirrors, and then my 2016 Denali has the backup LED lights here, so you can see, you know, backing up. Like I said, I have the rock lights which light up the tires, but having those backup lights in the mirrors are gonna be sweet. So get these out of here. Put you down for a second. So here they are out of the box. They have the LED high output reverse light on them, spotlight, and then forward lights, and then the blinker sequential light, and then it has the startup sequence, which is gonna do like a, and so that's gonna be pretty sweet when everything turns on. I mean, everything's clear on the front, so having the amber, and then the running lights are gonna be just the white, and then when you turn the blinkers on, they turn amber, like how the fender lights are. And then with the diode dynamics little guys on the corner, those just light up, and they're just like a very little amber, so it gets rid of that amber, you know, lens, but it still kind of gives you that marker light amber. So once the LEDs are all on, the white, you barely even notice them, but it's gonna be sweet to have everything set up. I think those mirrors are gonna look sweet, so let's get to it. All right, so just got the door panel off. It's one behind the door handle, two up underneath the armrest, and then two little guys down here at the bottom. Of course, they're all different sizes. And then once you get that off, they say undo the three screws, or the 3 Torx. This is all Torx. And then I just held it. It kind of slides down into the door like this, so this kind of grabs it a little bit. So, but then once you get it out here, just squeeze that plug and undo it, and you got your mirror off already. Took me maybe 3 minutes, not even. The intermediary harness. This is so you can take your doors on and off. They want you to fish it down, get a light, and use a piece of wire that you can bend or straighten out, and go through this hole here. I ended up fishing it through this hole and then out, because I was able to see it here, and then just used a pair of needle nose to grab it right behind the window track. And if you look in there, there's like this little tab that the wires run under. So I was able to get it like pretty much like perfect where this OE harness for the other lights for the heated mirrors went. So those are now coming both out there, and you gotta be careful if you're doing it, if you're pulling it in from the outside, watch out you don't pull that harness into the door, because I had to fish that out with this guy. So went in, pulled it up, brought it up. It was just hanging out like right here in the door, but now they're both coming through. So on to the next one. All right, so got the mirrors on both sides, and pretty easy. Just kind of fish this wire through, and from this side I went down and then over, and got it with my finger, popped it out, cut a slit. This is the new wire. Ooh, ran all the way down, and then here's these two. I end up use this pick, and then you just flip the white thing, but it was easier to have it out here versus like up here trying to flip it. So pull it out and then unbuckle it, then zip tie everything up. Leave some slack in the harness, but route it nice. That way everything works well and everything comes out down at the bottom. So I think we're on to the next step where we put the panels back on, or we start fishing wires. Right, so this is what we got going on so far. We got the black wire is grounded here, both of them to the passenger side, grounded, and then we got the two white wires that are now, let's see, going up to the tapped reverse
I left a lot of slack in that. Probably could have cut less, but I wanted to have enough slack to get it back up to the BCM terminal spot, because that's that gray clip right up there, gray and black. So wanted to have enough room. And then this is the I'll find a spot for this, but this is the inline fuse that they got for the tap reverse light. So we'll zip tie that up there too, and we'll get these wires all cleaned up, and then on to the next step, which is, I think, running wires through the firewall. So we're getting there. That looks sweet.
Midway update. I ran the front spotlights to the aux switches inside, so those are gonna come on when you hit those. We already have the rock lights hooked up to those. So this is the twin air from ARB on the Grim off-road mount. So that's gonna be your setup for the air, and that's the distance between that bracket and the mount, and then to the back of that shock, so get a better look at it. And then here's the setup up top. You know, just like that, primes up, hook your hose to it, run around, fill your tires up. These are the air filters that come, the extender hoses, and then this mount and everything comes in that Grim kit. So pretty sweet little setup. Figured I'd give you a shot of that while we have the fender off. But here are the fender clips that you have to get off. If you take some needle nose pliers and get up in here and squeeze the back of this, this is where you squeeze the two sides. You can squeeze the back, and then you can pop each one out. You might be able to just get away with letting it hang, because you can't really get to that one. You might break that one, so it's all boxed in around here, so there's really no way to get to it. But we're on the home stretch. We're just gonna hook this turn signal wire up. We're gonna run that. We're gonna zip tie all our wires, clean up our mess, and then we'll go get some videos of the mirrors. I really like them. You know, reminds me of the ones on my trucks. I think, you know, the look is gonna be pretty cool. They don't look like Dumbo ears or anything. That, you know, they're a lot bigger than the factory ones, but it kind of gives it a cool look to it. You know, it might look a little weird if it was stock, you know, stock wheels and tires, but since our with the 37s, they stick out a little bit, so everything kind of, you know, a little bit larger than factory. Yeah, I think they're kind of sweet. So like the quality of the build and everything too. It looks like they fold pretty easily, and install wasn't too bad. I mean, it's just tedious running wires and you know, making sure everything's good to go. So yeah, we'll finish this up, get this fender back on, tighten all the bolts and clips, and put the door panels back on, clean up our wires, and close the hood. We'll be good to go. Well, it took a little longer than expected, but I think it looks pretty good. It doesn't look too bad. And then we'll turn all the spotlights on. I'll show you real quick. So this has got to be on. Hook it up to aux 4. Shut these lights off real quick. Oh yeah, let's see. That looks pretty cool. That is pretty sweet. What do you guys think? Anyways, we're gonna wrap this one up, show you some outside picture or videos, and then we'll take some pictures in the daytime. But I think this is gonna be more of a nighttime thing, because that's sweet looking. Yeah, can't really beat that. And then that's with those, God, that's bright. Let's see. That's with those on, with those off. Yeah, it needed something up by them mirrors. Yeah, that's cool. Pretty sweet that these guys that have this kind of product. Aftermarket industry is pretty sweet when it comes to lighting and all this kind of stuff. I love just having something that's different than the rest of it, like everything else rolling down the road. Glad I got these and install relatively like not that hard. I've had these fenders off like 3 times now between doing the ARB thing. Like anytime you work on a J out, I feel like you're taking off a fender, and they didn't design it that great to where they can come off easily. You have to buy these clips, and if you break them, whatever. At least they're on Amazon now. They were selling the older ones, saying that they worked on the new ones. Just make sure you get the JL clips, 18 to current, and yeah, you just undo the 4 bolts, and then 1 retainer clip, and then just pop it off if you have the clips. If not, just kind of get behind there with needle nose, and then just take them off, and then the crimps are pretty easy. Crimp them on, you know, for the blinkers, and you're all set. Just do your switch for your forward lighting, and then you're gonna tap the BCM terminal, so that way you're all set up for when you put your car in reverse. And yeah, pretty sweet. We're gonna see how bright those things are too, but that's cool. Very cool. I like it. What's up, guys? So she's out of the shop with her new mirrors on. These are the forward spotlights you can get. Pretty dang cool looking, and it's pretty bright. I mean, our windshield's tinted, sides are 5, so obviously a little hard to see out to begin with. So with the rock lights, and then with these reverse lights, when you put it in reverse, those lights come on. But these forward spotlights are sweet. Let me show you what the turn signals look like, and then let's do a remote start. That way they fire up. But these are check these out. Four ways. Let's flip these off. And then just run. That's your normal running. Pretty sweet. I feel like it needed something up by the window. Yeah, I like it. Something different. And then I'll show you what it looks like when you. Where are they at? Let's do this. So that's unlocked. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to pick up a pair of these,